I would like to object to his speech about the relationship between the Anthonys and law enforcement. We're straying from his motion, which is to stay the release of this video.
I just qualified
and ask that
that
we could narrow the issue.
Again, I understand the way things have been. You're kind of off topic here, so let's get back to the stay. I get your point, but.
And anyhow, after attempting to reach the Anthonys, in which we were able, all parties were able to meet up and understand what was going on, I immediately proceeded to the jail. I wanted to be there in the event that that anything might happen. Upon arriving at the jail, Judge, I was denied access to my client. I immediately checked in and was told that I had to wait in the lobby area until someone could come and speak to me. After waiting approximately 5 or 10 minutes, at that time, I believe it was a sergeant or someone came down to tell me that I could not see my client until she was taken to medical. At that time, I asked why. Had she requested to go to medical? And of course, he claimed he didn't know, but I could not see her until afterwards. I waited another 10 or 15 minutes until I was taken to a captain, at which time the captain told me that I would be able to see her, but until after she was cleared by medical. It's also come to my attention that my client, upon being taken from her cell to this medical environment, she had requested to speak with me when they asked her, is there anyone you want to speak to? She had requested her attorney at that time. I think the situation that we have here, Judge, is where I don't want to point the finger whether it was, well, from all intents and purposes, it appears that law enforcement fostered an illusion.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this. Just making bald-faced allegations around here on a motion to suppress or anything.
Well, you'll have a chance to respond. I would note, in fact, I'm glad you spoke up. I wasn't sure that you'd been noticed for this, and I was checking to see, but somebody from County Corrections is here. Having said that, you're not claiming she was questioned, are you?
No. What I'm trying to lay out, Judge, is that there are numerous issues that could come into play here. And the reason we're asking for the stay of the video is so that these things can be pursued. I would like to depose those individuals at the jail. I would like to also question and through the course of deposing law enforcement as to find out where this little game started and how it ended up and ultimately where it ended up being to the point where my client's constitutional rights to have her attorney present there were affected, and possible medical privacy issues that are also at issue here. And
don't all those things go to admissibility at trial? I mean, assuming you prevail on that, the court would find it inadmissible. What's that got to do with this point of view?
I have not seen this video, Judge. And first of all, I'm not even certain if the state intends on using it. My conversation with Mr. Burdick is, I don't know if that call has been made yet. The issue here is, this is a possible medical privacy issue. This is also a possible issue that may come up later on as far as our constitutional right to counsel. We would just like the opportunity to investigate this matter fully. And then at that time, we can have a proper hearing where the court can either release the tape and rule on its admissibility, and basically just do this once. There are numerous issues throughout this incident, and I think what's best served by all parties is that it be investigated fully and that the court be educated completely as to what actually happened, who made these decisions, and how it went about. And I think all of these factors and issues will come into play both for admissibility and for the actual determination of the court of releasing this, and also the ability to see if it would affect her right to a fair trial. And I think as far as the legal arguments with the First Amendment issues, we pretty much laid that out with our first motion. I think they still apply in this motion.
Let me hear from the county, and then I'll let the Sentinel argue as well. I don't mean to did you want to speak, Ms. Cranbrook, on this issue?
Mr. Rose may have a comment regarding the release of the information once it's been provided in discovery. It's probably going to be a very similar argument to what we've already heard. Just as background, Mr. Byans does not have this yet, so it is not public record, but it has been provided to the Office of the State Attorney in the normal course of business.
Okay, appreciate it. Go ahead, Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm Robert Guthrie, Assistant County Attorney. As you know, in Orange County, the county runs the Corrections Department, and the sheriff does law enforcement. We had an inmate that was going to receive bad news, and as often the case, we will take them to the medical unit so that they will be available for to be seen by a counselor promptly thereafter if they choose to do so. The inmate is asked to wait, as in most areas of the corrections facility at the jail. The public areas are subject to fixed cameras.
Is this something that's done routinely, or is this done
Absolutely.
here?
This is a camera that was not installed for any particular purpose other than to be there all the time. And it runs.
How often does corrections do this, where somebody's taken there to get that news?
It's a decision of the major in charge of the corrections unit, but whenever we become aware of a death in the family or other bad news.
That's my question. When that happens, is this routine procedure?
Yes, it is. It's done frequently, yes. And it's done up to the corrections officer, to a captain, who then is in touch with the major, and the major usually makes
Is it always filmed?
If they sit in that public area, if they can go right in to see their counselor, or they're already aware of the bad news, and in that case they go right in, then they wouldn't be out in the waiting area and would not be filmed. Otherwise, they would be filmed, as they are in most areas of common gathering. So that's how it happened here in that situation. The county no longer has a copy of this tape or any public record, because this is a camera that tapes over itself every few days, as are most security cameras in most public buildings. So I guess I'm up here to say we object to the characterization of a conspiracy, and at a proper hearing we'll be glad to respond to that, because it is done as a routine matter. As an accommodation, we have a duty to the people that are in our custody to make sure they do not react very badly to really bad news, and sometimes their housing situation has to be changed if the medical people declare that to be the case. So two things: we object to the characterization in the motion, and two, we no longer have a public record.
Were medical people there or on standby?
They are, yes, they're there, because I think this was done during daylight hours, and there's always staff available. So yes.